So we are going to get Tia hooked up with a headset so she can join in on the conversation. But while we wait for her real quick, I want to ask Robby about Antman. I want to have a little Antman sidebar.
Ant-Man sidebar.
I thought it was pretty good. Like, out of all the Ant-Man movies, it's
Out of all
probably
the
not,
Ant-Men, it's
probably not my favorite. But
it's
it
not
was
a
still
top
pretty
G.
good.
Yeah. It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
There
was one thing that really bothered me in that movie.
Let's hear
was
it.
MODOK.
Preach.
I was like, why do you look like that?
He's so wide.
It was weird.
Like, why couldn't you
weird.
make it better?
They should have left his face covered forever.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, they should have
So-
I'll allow that he could be a little peanut man,
So we've been
but
learning
just don't show
that
me his eyes.
they've been cranking out movies so fast that sometimes they've been doing it with the CG not done. Like now that Wakanda Forever is out on like Disney Plus and Blu-ray, it's better in the CG department than it was in theaters. So they've been like updating it and still working on it. So
What?
that's where I'm curious if that'll look better once
Yeah.
it comes out.
Because like all the Marvel shows, the longer they're out, the more they work on them. So She-Hulk doesn't look as kind of jarring as it did when it first came out.
What?
Yeah.
Because it's a digital media, they can keep updating.
Like
the
a
graphics.
game? You just update it with a patch?
Well, it's just a new video file.
Yeah.
What?
But
They
yeah.
just put a new video file up.
That's
So
weird.
I'm going to be curious to see if that gets better because a lot of people don't like it. If they'll fix it for like the.
Well, I think a lot of people
end
don't like it
release.
because they've been asking for MODOK, and then they made him.
I
like, a
also
joke.
read
well,
that.
Well, sorry. Before we jump on from that, like, I agree that like it's weird, but I feel like the bulk of people agree that CG is bad.
Oh,
though.
I hated it.
Like it was poorly done.
It looks like
Yeah.
the Thumb movie.
so that's
Yeah.
where I think they
Yeah.
can still improve
Bat
it. You know what
thumb.
I mean?
But every time he opened his headset, I would just hear, "I'm Bat Thumb." all I
But
could
whether
see.
or not they do anything with it in the future, like everyone doesn't like how the design was to even show his face, but they can make the CG of his face better.
Yeah, okay. I would be curious to see.
Okay.
I also was reading like they put so much money into Black Panther Wakanda that all the other stuff that was getting made after didn't have the budget to like work with.
Gotcha.
Because they just poured it all into Black Panther.
Gotcha.
But see, I find that hard to believe because they make trillions of dollars.
Yeah, Disney's hurting right now.
Yeah.
How?
They keep
just-
they're losing a lot of money right now.
Just,
Yeah.
just budget better.
So,
You have infinite money. You're just.
I watched it. I was enjoying it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shout out to Lance who was saying this before we went in. He didn't give me any spoilers, but he said, "Yeah, I saw it. I was liking it, and then at the end, I didn't like it." I was like, "Okay." And then I got to the end of the movie, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good. I'm not really sure what he's talking about." And then the end happened, and I was like, "I get it now. I understand." So, two things. Number one, I thought Ant-Man's line of like, "I don't have to win, we just both have to lose," was such a good line that they should have done that. They should have both lost instead of like absolute minimum, even if they don't want to kill him off, they should trap him in the quantum realm.
Oh, that's what I thought originally that they were doing.
So,
Yeah.
but my biggest gripe is there's Ant-Man and Wasp, and they keep Kang from coming out, and the portal's gone, and then 30 seconds later behind him it opens back up. Like Cassie opened it back up for them to leave. On the other side of that portal, up there where Cassie is, you have no idea what happened. They could have died, but just delayed him enough to not come out. You know, like Kang might still just be right there. You don't know that he lost.
Oh, right.
So the fact that you would just open it back up and be like, "You guys good?" You know, like he could just come out, and that was all for nothing.
Yeah.
So minimum, absolute minimum, if they're gonna open it again, on the other side should be like 40 Avengers ready just in case.
Yeah. That makes sense. Not in Hank's basement.
Yeah, and she's not even like in her suit or anything.
And they're
you know?
all tired.
Yeah.
like, what? Are
And
you
one of
kidding
them
me?
is Hank Pym.
That makes
who's
sense.
just over it.
That makes sense.
like that you literally would make it all for nothing by doing that and risking it. So that part really bugged me. But otherwise, it was. I thought it was a pretty fun movie. I think Drew and I talked about this. I could have done with a little less Star Wars
Gotcha.
paint.
Yeah, when I
The
you
entire
mentioned that
quantum realm
before,
just looks like
and I was watching
Star
it,
Wars
and I was
world.
like, I guess they're right. It does kind of look like Star Wars.
Like they go to the cantina and there's
Yeah,
like weird
yeah, yeah.
alien creatures. I'm like, this is so Star Wars. It kind of hurts. Like the quantum realm, you can do anything. Like I thought the other part where there's like the living shooting buildings was really cool. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a
yeah.
quantum thing.
Give me like a fourth dimensional fractal being that's like folding in on itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Give me that. Don't give
It
me a
was-
jelly man.
It was very Star Wars.
I was.
Although I did like the jelly man, so that's not a fair.
the
statement.
ending of that movie, like the very ending where he's like
His cat.
narrating again.
Mm-hmm.
How I was like, I liked it, but there was. Why does everyone know who he is?
Because he's like one of the Avengers that saved.
He wrote a book.
Yeah, but
world.
no one knew who he was before then.
He wrote a book.
What do you mean? Oh, like the first time when he was walking through?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
no
all
one
of a
knows.
sudden. Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm
Well, they
like,
knew.
why all of a sudden?
Well,
Yeah.
they think he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, but they know his name now.
Yeah, he's saying in the first intro, they're all kind of like, oh, he looks familiar. But in the outro, they're like, oh, that's Ant-Man. But he did all that in the quantum realm, so nothing changed. Like,
But
how
his
come all of a sudden he's being
book sales.
in the time he was in the quantum realm?
We don't know how long he was down there.
It was like less than a day.
Time's different in the quantum realm.
You lay out longer, but in the real
he
life,
spent
it's like
5
a day.
hours down there, and it was 5 years.
I'm
up top.
kind of with Robbie on that one.
They're
I could
down there
see
for a
that.
3-hour movie. It's 3 years.
I was also telling Drew it's kind of funny that
I
like,
don't make the rules.
they're like, hey, Ant-Man, your daughter Cassie, who's like a teenager, built a quantum compass. I was like, wait, how though?
I'm more concerned of when. I'll allow how.
'Cause
Like she could figure it
They're
out.
like, oh, she was
but
sad
when?
that you were stuck, and so she wanted to build a compass to find you. Like, okay, but he left when she was like 6. Like, she wasn't gonna be doing quantum engineering at age 6. And then my dad was like, oh, well, she could have worked with Hank Pym on it. He was dusted by Thanos, so he wasn't around to help.
And so was
Yeah, I mean,
Janet
who
and
was?
Hope.
They were all. Dusted
were all
right?
All
gone.
3 of them were dusted, and Ant-Man was stuck in the quantum realm. That was the thing, remember? Because he goes in, and they're like, hey, guys, how do I get out? And it, like, pans out, and it's
Oh,
the
yeah,
van,
yeah,
and they're
yeah.
all dust. So all 3 of them are literally gone. There's no one that can help her make this. Like, how many child geniuses do we have?
Yeah,
so
crazy.
many.
but yeah, I was watching a
many.
video, and some guy was like, "I'm pretty sure he's in a different timeline when he comes back because everyone knows who he is."
I could see that.
And I was like, that's pretty cool. But we'll have to find out.
Drew, you want to share your thing, and then I'll share my thing? About him going in the battery?
Kang in the battery.
The battery.
Yes. So Scott, the whole point of the movie, Scott goes into the thing, the like
Quantum
probability space,
Oh yeah.
and there's 1,000,000 billion Scotts.
Right.
I want Kang the Conqueror in that space, million billion Kangs, working on how to get all of those versions of him out of that space.
Because that's where he got sucked into.
Yeah, he got pulled into the probability engine from the ship when he gets like pulled away.
At the very, very end.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want million billion Kang the Conquerors in there going, how did we lose? Break it down. What went wrong? All of us need to get out of here. Not just one. And instead of the nameless, faceless blue robots, the next time he ascends with that platform, all of those robots are Kang the Conqueror.
That'd be kind of cool.
And then what they do is the first Avengers movie is they're fighting all the Kangs, all those
the
variants.
Pharaoh one and
All
like,
of his
the frat
variants.
boys.
But I think
and
they are.
win. No, they win that, right?
no, they are going to do that.
Yeah, this is what we want to
Oh.
do. This is what I'm hoping for. They fight all those variants and they win, and most of the Avengers are like dead. And then Kang the Conqueror shows up with all the Kangs.
He gets out of that sphere.
Yeah, he gets out of that sphere with nearly infinite copies of himself because he's the one that all the other Kangs are afraid of. And then you have the surviving Kangs that are like, Avengers who are alive, help.
That's a pretty cool idea.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah, I think it's
Kevin Feige.
like you think about that in terms of like it takes however many Avengers it takes to beat that army, but then you have another army of Kangs, but it's just all copies of the worst Kang. So
Yeah,
it's like,
because I mean, he says he's like killed like a
Yeah.
bunch of Avengers.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's one.
Yeah.
That is a little frustrating to me. It's like, how many times have I killed you specifically, and then he loses in one like hand-to-hand combat with
I
him?
was really hoping he would just
yeah.
use the laser beam that disintegrates everything.
Oh, yeah.
And just kind of like, just kill one of them.
Okay.
Anyways.
Here, I have to give credit to Brian. I'm going to link Brian to this video just so he's aware.
Hi, Brian.
This is Brian's idea, and I thought this was the coolest thing ever. So, Kang and Ant-Man are fighting. They're duking it out. I don't have to win. We just both have to lose. Whatever. Stuff happens. The portal closes, and Ant-Man is stuck in the quantum realm. He doesn't get out. You assume down the road he's probably going to get out. They'll find a way.
You even put a thing like Ant-Man will return.
But for now,
Do your
he's
thing.
stuck. Okay?
Okay.
Then later in the Secret Wars, when the Skrulls are impersonating Avengers, there's a scene where Ant-Man walks in. Hey, what's up? How's everybody doing? And you're like, that's a Skrull. That's evil Ant-Man because Ant-Man's stuck. That's a Skrull. And you know as an audience person, because you know he's stuck, but no one else does. So he can parade around and do whatever and like collect intel and be an infiltrator.
That's pretty cool. I like that idea too.
Brian? It's a good idea.
That's a really good idea.
It's a good idea, buddy.
Too bad it won't happen.
Nope. It's going to be something else.
They're too afraid and
It's gonna
had
be
to
weird.
open the portal 20 seconds after they closed it and did
No
their great
consequences.
sacrifice.
Only laser beam head guy.
And that's what Lance said. He said it was a really good movie until the very end, and they're afraid of consequence, and they won't commit to anything. And then I was like, oh, okay. It's
fair.
And then I was like, I don't know what he was talking about. It's pretty good. And then the portal opened. I was like, oh, I get it. Okay.
There it is.
Immediately.
It just popped up.
Yep. So
Yeah, I guess
Heck
not
over.
thinking about that. Yeah, it does kind of bug me.
in the bubble of it, just like a movie by itself, it's pretty good. But like in the scheme of what it is, it's like, okay.
But what if
It
like
passes
down the
refrigerator
road,
test.
like what if down the road they're like, this is what truly happened, and they just throw a curveball?
I'm really honestly hoping for one of two scenarios being we find out later that all of these movies are from different timelines and only one timeline can survive. So everyone's kind of fighting against each other. Let's say this Spider-Man from No Way Home and this Ant-Man from Quantumania are from different timelines, but they're wanting to fight because they want their timeline to survive kind of situation. So it's like Civil War, but instead of being like what side of politics are you on, you're just fighting for your personal timeline.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't want to do that because they're cowards, then option 2, which is the more believable route, is it's a bunch of Kangs and villains from the timeline version where they won. So like Killmonger from Black Panther, but where he won. And he's been ruling Wakanda for X amount of time. He's been Black Panther. He's like way more used to these abilities. Like just all the villains from all the movies where they won. Like Darren Cross, where he's Yellow Jacket, but not MODOK, but where he won and like has all like way more tech than Ant-Man does because he's evil and like his suit has way more capabilities.
He could just use the incomplete shrink ray that turned a man into some bubble gum.
Yeah.
That's
way
crazy.
scarier.
That'd be like if they were able to do that, like instead of making like a trilogy of movies for heroes, they just for some reason switch to villains.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of cool. Like I'd be totally down to see that.
And then you just like duke it out in this huge war. And then whoever's left, that's how they distract them while the Kangs do their stuff. So then they have to wipe them out and then go fight the Kangs.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't know. Kang is such an interesting idea, and they can do so much with it, and I really hope they don't blow it.
I mean, so far he's been just completely obliterated in single combat twice. And he was carried away by ants. So he's losing a lot. He has lasers on his arms. Why is he throwing up a shield? Just
I don't know. I
lasers
feel
on-
like
you know.
he had a weak movie this time around, but I feel like they'll bring him back and then
Because
He'll be like a
my
Thanos.
understanding of Kang is that it's not that any one of them is a problem. It's that there's an infinite amount of him, and they all want the same thing, but they don't want to work together. So they just wait until you get most of the way, and then you die, and then they learn from your mistake, and then another one shows up in a time machine. It's like, perfect, I'll just keep going. And they show in perfectly fresh with all of their stuff.
Gotcha.
So you just have to keep doing it. I could be wrong, but I think
From
that's
what
how
I
it works.
remember, it's like he's been to like every timeline and whatever and seen so much that he knows to an astonishing degree like what everyone's choices are going to be and how they fight and like what their weakness is. And so he's just proficiently good at fighting everybody and taking them down. But yeah, I'm really hoping that like movies moving forward, I would love if like we see the Marvels and then there's like a post-credit scene after where he just like wipes them out or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be wow. And he just wins.
Yeah.
And it's over.
I gotta say though, the one thing that Ant-Man really did succeed at doing for me was hyping me up for Loki season 2.
Oh, that last ending?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, they're doing, oh, okay.
Oh wow,
I was like, sweet.
that's the guy.
Yeah.
I think that's the only show that comes out this year.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember.
Because I remember seeing they like totally backed off on Marvel shows.
Yeah, which is good. They were doing way too many.
Do like
There's like 2 and 2 a year.
There's more than that,
no,
dude.
they were doing like 6.
Really?
They should do 2 a year and make them good.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
But
Make 'em
Loki,
Loki was great.
Loki is awesome.
because that's also going into
Yeah.
like the quantum
Yeah.
and timeline stuff.
Drew and I were talking about this earlier today. The Marvel supercut of just the Infinity Saga. So they ordered them, not the movies in chronological order, but the scenes. So you have like all the flashbacks and whatnot in the Captain Marvel movie, and then like the beginning of Captain America before the time jump. So it's every scene from the movies in order.
Whoa.
It's 2 days and 16 hours long. And it has all the movies and TV shows from the just Infinity War saga, the Thanos stuff, up until the end of Loki, where he kills that Kang. And then it's okay, this is the end. And then we'll do the next one for like the multiverse stuff. But this is the point of like kicking off the next thing. So it's every movie, deleted scene, and TV show in chronological order.
Man, how long did that take?
I don't know. I'm really curious. I want to see a little bit of it. I just feel like it'd be really jarring because he'd have like a flashback from Thor and then a flashback from this. And it's in the middle, like it's just going to jump. You know what I mean? It was never made to edit together like that. So it's just going to be like, oh, geez. Whoa, God.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
One scene
Yeah.
to the next. Different director,
What?
different camera frames.
But it's like 300 gigabytes for the
Wow.
movie file, and that's just like 1080p, like pretty good quality. Like,
Yeah.
not anything nuts. It's so crazy. I am curious to I want to watch like 15 minutes of it and see if it's awful. I feel like after I was thinking about it for a little bit, Drew, the first like couple hours, that's all the flashbacks and intro stuff, is going to be awful. And then once it levels out and it's like just movies at a time, it'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
Like movies interjected with stuff. But like I saw someone did the end scene from WandaVision and the end scene from Loki like time up perfectly. Like the
Yeah.
events line up with when he does that and when stuff happens in that show. So they play at the same time.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's really cool.
So yeah, what would you give it out of 10? Let's hear it.
Ant-Man?
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and then move back into frame and join us on the couch.
Probably like an 8.
Okay.
I'd say a solid 8.
Okay. Drew?
I agree. I give the ending a 5 for lack of spine. But
you
I
give it an 8 otherwise?
no, I would give it a 5. The
Oh.
ending. The ending specifically, I would drag it down to a 5. The movie as a
I
whole,
see.
I give it an 8. I would have liked it more if it was less like Star Wars. But that's just me.
Yeah.
But for a fear of commitment to consequences of your actions, it drops it down.
Fair.
But it passed the refrigerator test. I had a great time watching the movie, and it was only a couple days later that you start to notice, you're like, wait a minute, that shouldn't have been possible. It would have been a 10 if it was a little bit better, and also if MODOK was either gone or not horrifying to look at.
We're gonna have to keep an eye on it when it launches on Disney Plus and revisit this conversation and see if they changed it at all.
Dude,
Yeah.
at launch, he looks so scuffed.
I'm gonna have to look more into that because I'm curious. Like,
I want to see side by side.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because now you have me like, oh, like
Go look at videos that are breaking down like She-Hulk trailers, and then watch like some reactions to the first episode. Because the trailers for She-Hulk is very jarring. It's very clear that
they're
the
like
body
completely
double
different.
is like overlaid on top. But the like even just the facial graphics, it's very uncanny valley, and then it gets a lot more natural the further into the future you
Yeah,
get.
I'm gonna look up some videos on that.
Because that's the easiest one to track because it's just a person.
Since we're on the Marvel topic, what is
I give it a 7.
a 7?
Yeah. Carry on.
7. That's pretty low. Not low, but I'm
Yeah.
surprised you're lower than me.
Probably would have given it an 8 if it weren't for the ending stuff that, like, in the theater, it bothered me. Like, when it opened, I was like, you guys suck. Like,
Yeah.
just viscerally, that happened to me, and, like, that really sucked.
Yeah.
But carry on.
Okay. So out of all the Marvel movies, what's like your favorite, if you can remember?
Infinity War.
The part 1?
Yeah.
Part 1 was pretty good. I don't know. I think Winter Soldier is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier is just so good.
I'm compelled to agree. Winter Soldier as a standalone movie is great.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
You
like
don't need to know a ton about what else is going on to be like, yeah, this is a good movie.
I thought Infinity War just did a really good job setting up how outclassed they kind of were. And, like, somehow showing that even after getting all these heroes together, it was still going to be an uphill fight.
There's one scene that
Oh,
if it's
yeah.
not
In a
in
believable
there
way.
is
Yeah.
like the perfect movie, and it's take Star-Lord punching Thanos in the nose out of the movie,
Yeah.
and then it's perfect.
Yeah.
I cannot suspend that much disbelief. I'm like, bro,
had
you
it.
can kill him in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
if that was the end
Get the gauntlet.
of like that series, I think that would have been fantastic. Like there was no part 2. Like they lost.
Oh,
Like he snapped his fingers, they lost.
game over. We'll try again in a different multiverse.
I would have been like, whoa.
That would have been crazy.
Whoa.
Recast everybody again. That'd be nuts.
Yeah.
Before we jump back into Harry Potter, though, I do want to say, hopefully we'll all get to watch them and do some reviews. That I'm trying not to, but I'm failing at not being excited for March because there's a movie like every week I'm excited for.
John Wick, man.
Yeah,
3 hours.
dude. Next 3 hours.
3 hours.
Holy cow!
3 hours.
That's a lot of John Wick.
It's the longest John Wick, and it's also like, I guess, nonstop. The most action.
I can't watch that for 3 hours. I love John Wick, but that much action, I need a break, dude. That's way too much.
It was
That's
like
way too much.
they said it's 3 hours and it's the most like
Is this the
hardcore
Cinderverse
stunts, most hardcore stunts and violence in one movie.
Oh, I'm sure because it's 3 hours.
Stop.
That's insane.
Filmmakers, stop.
Holy cow!
Stop. New movie limit, 2 hours, 20 minutes.
Operation
Absolute
Fortune
cap.
next week. The Guy
What is
Ritchie
it?
movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
With Josh Hartnett and all that.
Yep. That's next week. Week after that,
Ooh,
65.
next week. I still haven't seen a full trailer of that movie.
That's fine. Just go into it blind and enjoy it. 65. The week after that, I want to say is the Shazam 2. I could take it or leave it. That's probably one I'm least excited for March.
Because it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
Does
pretty
that
much.
movie not matter anymore?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
So we got that one. Week after that is John Wick 4. The week after that is the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Okay.
And then the week after that, first week of April, is the French Three Musketeers movie.
No idea what you're talking about, but count me in.
Right?
It looks really well done.
Pretty good.
It looks exceptionally. I could be very wrong. I have a terrible eye for what's CG and what's not. You're gonna laugh at me, but I didn't know that Grand Moff Tarkin was CGI'd in the most recent.
They
Star
did a
Wars
really good job.
until someone pointed out, and then now he looks like a space alien.
Yeah.
He looks like a Martian.
They did do a really good job on
So
that.
I didn't notice, but I don't tend to like pay too much attention to that stuff. But it looks like it's a lot more practical effects than CGI for Three Musketeers.
The last CGI, or
It's probably
the last
mid-budget,
CGI.
dude.
The
Might
last
be.
Three Musketeers movie I saw was with Ray Stevenson, the guy from Dexter, who also was Punisher.
Yeah.
He was one
I
of the
know who you're talking about.
Musketeers.
He's a Sabretooth, right?
No, you're thinking of the the TV show race. You're thinking of. I know what you're thinking of. You're thinking of the guy who plays Sabretooth has a show called Ray, like whatever.
Yeah, and he's in Dexter.
No, that's a different guy. There's a different guy, but that was the last Three Musketeer movie I saw, and it was pretty horrible.
Okay, cool. Well, we have that to look forward to. Thanks for watching our Ant-Man review, and we'll see you for some of these March movies, hopefully.
Movies.
Ooh.